There we go. We're recording. What's up? Oh,
What's going on, Cas? Oh my
everything's good.
God.
hmm
Everything's good except this pollen.
Except the spawn. All right. So before we hit record, we're talking backstage. And for anybody that's listening right now, this is the first episode of Just Kicking It with Cas and O. We're getting our stuff together, so just forgive us. But I promise you that you're going to enjoy what you have to hear today. So before we even went live, in the 5 seconds before we hit record, we are talking about this pollen. So, let's talk about the pollen. Let's start off with that.
So I did not know that living in Georgia would handicap me so bad.
hmm
And it seems like every season it just keeps getting worse.
Getting
So
worse.
I've been knocked down all week. I've
Oh,
been
man.
working, I've been grinding, I've been shipping orders out because I still got to show up, right?
Right.
So here we are, pollen and all.
Gotcha. So I got a couple questions for you because I feel the same way. So I moved from New York over 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago. And in New York, I never experienced pollen. And even in the first maybe 15 or 16 years of living in Georgia, I didn't experience it. Now, my oldest son, he was the only person in the family that had bad reactions. Like his whole face would swell up, his eyes would be just crazy. And we had to do things like every year to kind of just keep him inside the house. But I personally never experienced it. Then about 5, 6 years ago, it kind of hit me, but it wasn't crazy. But just
Mhm.
like you said, every year it has progressively gotten worse.
Yes.
So the question I have for you is when did you start feeling it?
So I have kind of like a similar story as you. So when I lived in Louisiana, I
Right.
never suffered with
Yeah.
seasonal allergies.
Right.
Food allergies, yes, but so I'm when I moved here the first time, which was probably about 15 years ago, I
hmm
never had any issues, right?
Right.
It wasn't until I moved back and I've been here 10 years that I started suffering with
Right.
seasonal allergies. So I had been living here all this time. Then I leave, I go back home, I come back here to
Right.
make my home again, and it hits me all of a sudden.
Yeah. 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 It's definitely a real thing. So I have a quick funny story. It's gonna take less than a minute. So I think the very first year, I'm big on social media. When I say big on social media, I'm not big, but I just like social media.
Uh-huh.
So the very first year it hit me, I tweeted about it when Twitter was Twitter and Twitter was not X.
When it wasn't
And
X.
yeah, and I was like, I said, the pollen is just, kicking my tail or whatever. And WSB picked up on it and asked if they could put the tweet in an article because it was a statewide thing where a lot of out of towners were just all of a sudden suffering from just outbreaks. And, researchers got on it and whatever. And they said that pollen in Georgia is the worst in the country. And it's, people who've never had allergies before, they come to Georgia and suffer. So it's a real thing. It's a
It
real
is
thing.
definitely a real thing. And so my son, who's in Louisiana, he is starting to get a little taste. Like
Yeah.
all the years that I've been suffering here, he's like, yeah, I don't have that problem. I don't have that problem. And now that he's like 25, he's starting to have that
Yeah.
problem in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So it's just not as bad. Like I've
Right.
never seen anywhere in the world where you wake up and the pollen count is red, like
Super
it's
high. Yeah, super
8,000.
high. Well, not even that. Like, you don't even have to be outside. Like, you could be inside the
No,
house and pollen is creeping in like radon gas.
you
It's
let
crazy.
me tell you. So when people come inside the home, it's
Mhm.
on their clothes,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
on their
yeah.
clothing, so when your significant other, whomever your kids come in and you embrace them,
Yeah, they're tracking it. Yeah. It's in
yeah,
your nose, it's in your mouth, it's in your eyes, in your face.
everywhere.
They're kicking your butt. Yep, yep, yep. So we got a couple of things to discuss. I got a mini list. I don't know if you have a list. But yeah, we've been talking about this idea for a while. So before we even get into that, I'm gonna quickly pass it back to you and just to talk about a little bit about what you do, just because if anybody's tuning in for the first time, we plan on making this a series and we want you guys to kind of rock with us and know what we do and see if you could support us or not even support, just relate to us. Sometimes as business owners, people struggle finding other like-minded individuals to just, again, relate. So Omika, what is it that you do?
So, as Cass stated, my name is Omeika. So, I'm the creator of the Reigny Day Planner. So, it's a faith based financial planner, and I designed it to help individuals leverage their faith to increase their finances.
Right.
So it's just like, a regular planner, but you can take it up a notch. So it's not just about finances, but it's about faith as well. So I've been doing this for a little over a year. Business is going well. I'm helping a lot of people. I even had someone send me a review and said the planner literally saved their life.
Wow.
So that gave me confirmation that, okay, I'm on the right track and
Right.
I'm doing the right thing, because this is exactly when I prayed about this. This is what I wanted the planner to do to positively impact the world. And it
Nice.
seems to be doing just that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're awesome. I love the product. And I know you're gonna go far. And I know this is just a start. We talk all the time about business.
Yes.
And I've experienced a planner, not as a consumer, but almost as well, if you don't know, I'm Omika's coach as well, and I've experienced it in a different highlight. But I see what people are saying about how it's changing their lives. When I first opened up the planner, you asked me, hey, what's the first word that came to my mind? And it was like quality. So in business, always, regardless of what you sell, whatever your service is, you have to be giving out more value than people are paying, right? Or they have to have a higher perceived value at the very least. But right out the gate, if you haven't experienced a planner and you open it up, boom, right in your face, excellence, right?
Yes.
So I'm with you. I'm proud of you for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Mhm.
thank you for believing in my brand.
Oh, no, no
I
doubt. Well, here's
appreciate
the thing, like, you made it easy, so that's another thing for people. If you want people to believe in your brand, you gotta believe in your own brand, and one
Yes.
thing about you is you believed in your brand so much, it made me a believer, right? So
Oh,
this person is, I'm like, "Hey, this person is confident about their brand, they believe in themselves." So oftentimes when people come to me as a coach, I know they need a little help, but if they don't even have the mindset to believe that they can do it,
yeah.
it's an uphill fight for me, and sometimes I'm like, "Nah, you're not, ready for me quite yet."
Mhm.
Because I could help you get there, but if you don't even believe you could get there, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
fighting. I'm gonna be
A
fighting.
funny story
Yeah.
on that note, I was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends,
Mhm.
and we were talking about another individual who has a brand that they're trying to put, before their target audience, right?
Right,
And so we were kind of just talking about things that we see, just outside looking in. And
right.
so I told my friend, I was like, honestly, I'm not convinced that
Mm,
some individual believes in their own brand.
right. Yeah,
So it doesn't make me say I want to buy this or I can use this. I don't even feel relatable. Like, I don't feel related to
yeah,
this. There's nothing that draws me to this
yeah.
item that would make me want to say that, "Oh, I need this.
Mhm.
This is exactly what I'm looking for." And
Right.
so I was just like saying, like, I was like, I'm not judging, but if I had the opportunity to speak to said person, I would just be honest and upfront and say, "Hey, the way your delivery is not there. You're not connecting with your audience, because it seems like when you do show up, if you show up, it's not believable. Like, you
Right.
don't even believe in the product or the service that you created." So that would be some advice for anybody that's listening.
Mhm.
If you're trying to grow your business or start your business from the ground up, you got to believe in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you don't, nobody else will.
Right, right, right. I wanna jump back to that, in a little bit, but before I do, I wanna introduce myself too. So we talked about but if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Cas Thompson. I run a marketing agency called Gladmash. I've been doing that for about 5 years, and I have, experienced several parts of business. I've opened up a brick and mortar, that's all in the past. Hopefully, on the next few shows, we could jump in, to my history, but currently, we are going through a transition in the agency where I help, small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, lawyers, doctors, anybody that has to, or not has to, but they want help boosting their personal brand in order to push their product. and they just need help. But currently, I've switched over to real estate agents. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to help everybody else, but I've niched all the way down to real estate agents, and that's been fun so far. But I do want to go back to your topic on believing in yourself. So I've been the type of entrepreneur, Omika, and you're entrepreneurial too. So I'm sure you've gone through this, where sometimes you're just trying stuff, or like you'll read an article, or you might get hit with, let me go all the way back. Remember like 10 years ago, people would come in with like prepaid legal or noni juice. Like, so sometimes you just get hit with a wave of like
Yeah.
whatever the new entrepreneurial thing is, right?
Mhm.
Um, so again, you get hit with this wave and you're like, you're telling your spouse, hey, I want to try this new thing. Or maybe it's not a wave. Sometimes you might just read a book or jump on YouTube and you're like, well, I want to try this too. And the truth is, you believe that you could do it, but you're not all the way turned up quite yet. So,
Mhm.
so there's still a little bit of doubt in your mind, and you're trying to present this to your family, to your friends, who I've learned are not really your target audience for anything like that anyway. But what do you think the why is? Like, why do you think people don't believe in the products that they're selling, Omika? I'm putting you on the spot.
Honestly, I think it's because in this world, like
Hmm.
a lot of us have that microwave mentality. So when we're thinking about a service or a product, we're thinking some of us, the money is the first thought process, right? So we're like, okay, I'm gonna get this together. I'm gonna put this out here because I want to start bringing in like $5,000, $10,000 a month.
Hmm.
And the reason why you're not able to execute is you're not thinking about it the right way, if that makes sense. So instead of you thinking about how much money you can make on a certain product or service, you should think about how many people you can help or how many lives you can
Hmm.
change. So I honestly think it's just like a mindset thing. We're just thinking about the wrong things at the wrong time, and
Hmm.
we're kinda, like, trying to go to the end and then work our way backwards instead of just starting from the ground up and going forward.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. The other piece too is, I look at some of these gurus online that are selling these thoughts, these ideas, these concepts, and oftentimes when people with entrepreneurial spurts click in, the mistake that they make is not realizing that, whatever it is, it's a journey. So the person that you're looking at that's making 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, they have, $1 million business. They've been doing this, right? If you go back to any one of them, they've been doing this for probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, some of them 20 years. And they've built up an audience, they've built up techniques, they've built up several products, and they're
Yeah,
selling you this thing. And for you, this is your first thing. And unfortunately, some of us are in a condition where, we just need extra money. We might have a 9 to 5, and you're looking at this ad on Instagram, and it's like, hey, make $10,000 a month, right? But
mhm.
it's not going to be your first month. It might not even be your second month. You might be doing this for 2 years. So I do agree, Omika. Like, some of us have to have the correct mindset and be like, okay, I do believe in this thing, but I also believe that it might take me a couple of years, not months, not weeks, not days. It might take me a couple of years. And oh, by the way, like, I'm gonna have some bumps in the road.
Imma
And
stumble,
yeah,
right?
I'm gonna stumble a couple of times. And while I stumble, it's okay for me to be like, hey, did I even make the right choice?
Mhm.
And ultimately, you have to, if you still believe, you can't quit. Because if you just keep on starting businesses every 2 months,
You're gonna be
none
doing
of them.
it for your
Yeah,
life.
none of them will work. So everything, that I've done and I believe in it, and I know it's hard because, again, your spouse gotta also be on the journey with you. My wife will tell you, man, we'll both start businesses and be like, "Okay, we gotta figure out if this is gonna be long term or not, and if we're gonna spend more time on it or not." And
Mhm.
I think right now we're to the place where we're finding our balance and just growing what we have, as opposed to starting new things. And I think it's okay to start new products within your core business, but
Yes,
right, but to start a whole new business, um,
that's a no-no.
that's a
That's
no-no. Okay.
especially if you're doing it by yourself
Mhm.
or if it's just you and your spouse.
Right.
That's just not a good idea. You're gonna be stretched thin. It's
Mhm.
not gonna work out. You're gonna get frustrated, and guess
Yeah.
what happens when you get frustrated? You quit. You
You
give
quit.
up. You
You
forget
quit.
why you even started in the first place.
Yeah. So
Separate.
while you were talking, this is how my mind works, right? I already want to start a t-shirt business right now with a t-shirt that says that's a no-no. You just said it, but I mean that's how quickly ideas come to us, and I think it's a blessing that when you're entrepreneurial that you could kind of think of ideas real quick. And I think as a coach, it's part of what I like because my job sometimes is to help the person that I'm serving stretch their own brain and think of new concepts. But like I said, it's not to start a new business, it's to really find a way to monetize, right? I'm gonna say
Yes,
that again, to monetize the business that you have. So your business could have several legs and
yes,
several pillars that it could stand on, but
mhm,
ultimately, all the pillars still serve one core brand. So I'm with you. And I got to give you credit for one more thing too. Is like if you're not thinking about the money and you're thinking about the true impact of how you could serve people, you'll be all right.
yes,
You'll be all right.
yes.
Yeah.
Like,
So
us being a servant leader is not played out.
just it never will be.
It's not
It
like
goes way back.
honestly, that's the tea right
Right.
there, right? Like because some people they want to be served, but they
Mhm.
don't want to serve.
Right. Yeah. You have to be a servant leader.
Yeah, you have to
And
be.
it could be as simple as saying, hey, I don't want to sell one widget today. I just want to help one person today. Or I don't want to sell one widget this week. I want to help one person get from point A to point B this week. And oh, by the way, if I don't sell anything to this one person, it's okay because my core belief or my purpose was to help them, right? And sometimes
Yes.
not selling them the thing is still helping them. And
Yeah,
guess what? People will appreciate that. And you'll see them pop back up in 2 weeks or a month or even a year, right?
absolutely.
Mhm. Yeah,
Uh,
so I'm with it.
yeah.
I'm with it. So I have a confession, Omika.
Okay.
All
Tea time.
right, so tea time. Tea time. It's not the type of tea you're thinking, but guess what I'm using right now? I'm using my iMac. So I've been having so much trouble and I literally rolled the dice. So let me catch you guys up who are listening. My iMac has not been connecting to the internet, and when it does connect, it will fail in 2 minutes. And I didn't know why. I've been hitting YouTube, hitting Google, and it'll just drop. A couple of people said that it was definitely software issues. And before you think about it, it's not my internet because all of my other products work, right? And
Just
they don't drop. It's just literally this iMac. And 2 days ago, because I'll still edit on it. So I'm a video editor as well. So 2 days ago, I was editing and I had my browsers open and 15 minutes went by, 30 minutes went by, and it never crashed. Yesterday, I left something open, came back this morning, it was still up. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this podcast on it. And I'm going to cross my fingers and pray to God because if it crashes, we got to start this whole thing over. But I was like, yeah, I took a big risk, and I'm still knocking on wood, praying that we're smooth. But the fact that we're at like 18 minutes,
yes.
this is the longest this iMac has gone in maybe about 2 months. So hopefully Apple got their stuff together.
Okay, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, cause you know me, we always talk about our MacBooks, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
on the MacBook, because
Mhm.
I'm like, this is this works for me. I'm going to use what works for me.
Of course.
I don't have as many toys as you
Right.
have,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I have the MacBook, I have the iPad, of course, I have the iPhone,
Right.
and I have better quality. I
Of
have
course.
like it's just everything just works better on the MacBook. So I'm
Yeah.
proud of your system for like not shutting down today.
Right. And this is not even a knock on my iMac because I actually love the product. Like
Yes,
it's been my favorite addition to my Mac toys. And I know you're a Mac person too, Omika, but it has up until this point, it's been my favorite addition. I got the two monitors set up and I
mm,
could edit on one side. And even right now, even on this podcast, I have two screens set up. So I'm looking at my notes over here. Sometimes I look at Omika this way, and sometimes I look at the camera this way, and you guys can be like,
mm,
hey, Kaz is giving me eye
yeah,
contact, right? So I love this setup. And for the price, again, I don't work for Apple, y'all, but for the price, I would add it to the suite for sure. It was
Mm.
maybe $600, and I think I caught $100 coupon at Best Buy the time I bought it. And you could really, if you're going on vacation, you could take it with you and run it to any monitor. As long as you have a mouse, you're good. Even if you don't have a mouse, your iPhone will serve as a mouse.
Okay.
And I think it's because I'm getting older and my eyes just don't work the same way. And I need big screens. I need big screens. But you're right. The MacBook does serve a purpose and it goes with me everywhere 24/7. But if I'm sitting at a computer or sitting at my desk, I should say, this iMac is my baby.
Absolutely. So let me ask you.
Yeah,
So
hit me.
I love the two monitor setup that
Hmm.
you have going on, right? And so I have that like for my career,
Right.
but I don't have it for my business.
Right.
So what type of monitors you have?
I have one is an Acer and one is a HP, and it's only because I think I had the Acer originally, just as a single monitor to run to my laptop, and my wife got a new monitor and it was a HP, so they both don't even match up. But the one on my left right now is the Acer, the one on the right is the HP, and the monitor she got was one of those new big curved screen Samsungs. And
Okay.
when she's not looking, I might go up there and try to snag it, or when the budget is right. Because even though we're doing well, thank God, I'm still super frugal. I'm still super frugal. So I don't buy things unless I need things.
Yes.
But if the budget is right, or if God blesses me with something, I'll get one of the new curve screens. But honestly, I could rock with this for another 2, 3 years
Yeah.
and I'm good. So yeah, one Acer, one HP, but it doesn't even matter. You could run
Yeah.
any, yeah,
Just
yes, HDMI in the back, USB type C, also on the back of the iMac. So if you know what? I believe there are only two USB-Cs, so I only needed an adapter for one of the monitors,
okay.
but it was a smooth setup. Smooth setup.
It's kind
Yeah.
of like it's like my work setup. I have like a Dell and then I have an HP.
Right, right, but it don't matter. Like,
No
it don't
matter.
matter.
It
Yeah,
works.
it works. I'm dragging Chrome tabs left and right. I'm having
It's
fun with it.
I was honestly thinking about getting me like the Apple desktop,
Yeah,
like the desktop
yeah,
computer. I was thinking about putting that on my wish list because, like
right.
you said, it has to be in a budget, right? That's the
Have
rainy
to be
day.
in a budget. Yeah, but
So I
even yeah,
definitely thinking about adding
yeah.
it to my
I'm gonna convert. I'm gonna not convert, but convince you as you're doing your research. Compare the full desktop to the iMac.
okay.
And it's honestly because of travel. Like I know I could take the iMac with me anywhere and it's an easy setup.
Okay.
And like I said, it's already well, the desktop is too, but I like the fact that I'm airdropping left and right. I'm communicating my notes from my iPhone pop up
Yeah,
easily. So
yeah,
I do like the ecosystem of Apple.
gotcha.
I like the
Yeah,
ecosystem.
love
Cool,
it.
cool, cool. Cool.
Absolutely. That's funny. It brings up a story just from last night.
Yeah.
So I was, of course, just sitting up in bed, drinking hot tea
Right.
and doing some work, right, for the business. And so my son, he FaceTime me all the time. And so I'm on my MacBook. So I go ahead and answer it on my MacBook. But I have different screens up so he can see me, but I can't see his face.
Oh wow, right.
He was like, Mom, what are you doing? Are you on your computer again?
He could tell.
I said, "Yes." He was like, "Yeah, I can tell because you're not paying me. You're not
No
paying me."
attention. Mhm. You multitasking.
And I said, "I'm sorry. I am very sorry, but I have to get this done." And he was like, "Okay, mom, just don't stay up all night doing it."
Right,
So, like, I promise you, at that time it was like 9:40. I said, "I promise you at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna do a hard stop." And I did.
right.
And he FaceTimed me this morning.
Oh, wow. He got back to it. So you know what? That leads me to another good topic. And for anybody that's watching and listening, regardless of where you're watching and listening, I want you to give me your thoughts in the comments too. So at what point, Omika, do you think that technology is slowing us down from really spending quality time from our loved ones? So we talked about these dual monitors. We're talking about getting new things to work harder, work faster, to work more efficiently, right? But ultimately we're trying to do our best at multitasking, right? So at what point, like, what's the bar, like what's the line that we shouldn't cross? And again, if you're listening or watching and you're in the comments, I want you to chime in if you've ever been in a situation where you're so much into technology that you can't be present, right? Presence over presence
Yeah.
is key. So at what point do you draw the line, be like, you know what, let me click this off, let me shut down? Because right now, y'all are not alone. I have one, two, three, four, five. I have over 12 tabs open on another monitor. And on this monitor, there's only one tab because it's just a podcast. But I have 12 tabs open and I'm trying to process 12 things at the same time, plus the podcast. And I'm sure there's tons of you guys out there. So what's the line? What's the bar? What line don't you cross?
So this is something that I had to learn. Dinner time.
Dinner time. Okay.
Like, I'm trying to even get into the habit of not even bringing my cell phone to the
Hmm.
table, right? So that's a no-no. Again, I learned that lesson because one day I looked up from my phone, or one evening I looked up from my phone and I saw the look on my husband's face.
Yeah. Like what you doing,
And
girl?
like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Hmm.
So definitely dinner time, and also honestly, vacation.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I understand that some of us go on vacation and we still work, and it's cool.
Right.
Like, do you? But when I go on vacation, yes, I'm doing videos.
Hmm.
I may even go live for maybe like 5, 10 minutes, but it's probably like at the start of my day when, after I've written in my journal, after I've gone on the balcony, talked to God. And that's
Right.
just me, my time, and I want to share it with the world.
Right.
But vacation, especially when it's like an anniversary trip or birthday trip,
Yeah.
for yourself or your significant other, I think that's where you should draw the line as
Yeah.
well because you want to give people your undivided attention. And so once I check myself about it,
Hmm.
when people do it to me, it really grinds my gears.
Grinds your
And
gears.
now I'm like, okay, I understand, how other people that were on the receiving end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say those two things for sure.
Yeah. I'm the same exact way. So, meal time with anybody else. So when I was dating my wife, dates, I put the phone down. If I'm also at functions where like me and the guys will go out, or
Mhm.
like me and a bunch of friends were at a big table, we've even played the phone game. And I don't know if you've played this game where um, you put your phones down in the center of the table. Everybody
Mhm.
put it, and the first person that picks their phone up, you know, has consequences. Let's just say that everybody plays the game different. If
Okay.
if you got money, if you rolling with a bunch of millionaires, the game really is the first person that has to pick up their phone pays for the whole table. But
Uh-huh.
I don't play that game with my friends because we're not there yet. We're gonna manifest it, but we're not there yet. But yeah, so the person that picks up their phone first has consequences. They might get called out. So any type of meal, and
Mm,
I used to be very addicted to the cell phone, and for a while, you might not know this, but I actually worked for a major carrier for several years, for like over 15 years. And it
okay.
was the whole my whole lifestyle was cell phones. Like what cell phones are coming out, what cell phones have the best features or what have you. And now I could care less really. As long as I'm responsive to my clients. And typically emails the thing. There are a few clients that I will text, but I mean I even have two phones that, and one of them is business. So
Mhm.
that business phone I don't even take with me on vacation. And my wife
Yeah.
would be like, "Are you leaving your phone?" I'm like, "Definitely." Like so, the my personal phone goes with me everywhere. But another good example, I know you brought up vacations, but cruises. Now me and my wife is very nurturing, so I don't really knock her for it, but I don't even want the cruise social package. I don't want to check in, right? Whatever I'm doing, I like I'll download like a game that could be played off the internet, like on the cruise. I
Mhm.
will, be on airplane mode or whatever, and I'll tell the kids if you need me, hit 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 my wife up and she will get me the message, us as a unit, because I know she's going to have the social package and she'll be on her phone, but I don't knock her. But I've learned to check out, and part of it too is like I said earlier, I know I was making fun of myself with the big screens because I'm getting older, but part of it is because I'm getting older and I am valuing time with myself and
Yeah.
valuing time with with my loved one more than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Now I'm still a hustler, and it's, yeah, 24/7. That whole mentality, hustle mentality. Like, I get it, but right now we're in a state. I know self care is like a big thing. It's huge in the media, but it's true. You got to take time for
Yeah.
yourself, and sometimes you just need peace. So scheduling peace,
Yes. Schedule
there's
yourself.
nothing
Schedule that.
nothing wrong with that.
I
Nothing-
definitely agree with that. Now, I'll tell you where you and I differ when it comes to cruises.
Hit me.
I do get the
Get the,
package.
the yeah.
I do get the package.
Mhm.
Because like I said, sometimes I capture something and I want to like immediately share it. And it takes
Right.
like 2 minutes.
Right.
If right. And also my son, so he has my location, so he knows
Right.
where I am,
Right.
and he texts me like
You
every
check in. Yeah.
just say like good morning, like what are y'all doing today? Oh, I hope you enjoyed, or how
Yeah.
was dinner last night? Like I just don't because we're already 500 something miles apart when I'm here
Right.
in the States. When I go out of the country, I know that he's super worried
Of
about me.
course. Nice.
So, oh yes, he is very over
Mhm. Yeah,
when I
I
fly.
I think it's okay to differ. I think it's the difference between men and women. I think
Yeah,
women are more nurturing, and
yeah,
guys, we could care less. Like, we're more logical.
yeah, yeah,
Not I'm not saying that it's illogical to be nurturing. I'm not saying that. But the way women think and the way men think are very different. And
yeah,
I've learned as a man to just acknowledge that. And that's why I tell the kids, like, hey, if you want to get in touch, I know for a fact my wife is gonna have the package on. So definitely, if there's an emergency, you need to check in with her, and she'll get me the message. She'll definitely get me the message.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's always like a simple, like good morning. Oh, enjoy your excursions
Right.
today.
Yeah, yeah.
Something quick. Oh, good morning, mom. I'm on my way to work because we talk. He's used to talking to me every
Of
day.
course, of course.
He's used to checking
Checking
in
in.
with me every
Yeah,
day because of everything that goes on in this world, right?
of course.
So
The world is crazy. I don't blame
every
him. Yeah, yeah,
exactly,
yeah. Yeah, nah,
especially when you
I
have a
don't.
black son.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I don't blame him. Yeah, it's funny you say that. The world is changing. Obviously, we're looking at social media. We're looking at world events and things of that nature. And I don't know when this episode will come out, but whenever it comes out, I'm gonna date this by saying yesterday there are two earthquakes in New York, in the New York City area, right? So
Yeah,
whenever you see this, you'll probably figure out, okay, they were recording on this date at this
yeah.
time. And usually I don't like to date things in media,
Mhm.
but just in the vein of things changing, I think it is important to know where your loved ones are and make sure everybody's safe. So I have two daughters in the New York City area. My parents are there, so I had to check in. And I'm not the best, but I got to get better because the world is changing. So great reminder, Omeika.
Absolutely, because
Mhm.
you just never know.
You never
Like
know.
you just never know.
Life is
So
too short. Life is too short.
absolutely.
Yep, 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 yep. So I got some social media news.
Mm.
So every time I say I got some news, you sip the tea like on cue, like it's staged. I'm promising you guys, this is not staged. She just got the tea, and I got the tea. So social media news, because I promised to bring you at least one. I'm gonna call it a gem, to bring you
Okay.
at least one gem every episode. So LinkedIn, and you guys, I love LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is gonna be testing out a new video feed feature coming soon. Hopefully sooner than later, where it's gonna be almost like TikTok style. So if you have short form video on your LinkedIn, it's gonna be a feed where you could just scroll, scroll, scroll. So I have mixed emotions. I just said you already know I love LinkedIn, and I'm excited because I work primarily with a lot of short form video. But LinkedIn is a holy place for me. So I do have mixed feelings on this one. I'm trying to get um your feelings, Omega. And again, anybody that's listening or watching down below, let me know how you feel about this one coming to LinkedIn as well. So TikTok style feature where you could scroll and keep on scrolling and keep on scrolling. So what are your thoughts?
Honestly, my thoughts. No,
Hmm.
keep TikTok over there.
Hmm.
My personal opinion, LinkedIn is for business minded individuals,
Hmm.
serious individuals. Like, nothing against TikTok,
At all.
but
It serves a purpose.
I don't think those two things need to merge. I think we should keep it professional. Um, there's nothing wrong with the way that it is now.
At
If it's
all.
broken, don't fix it. Because my personal opinion, they implement this and it's just going to change the whole concept. It's just going to change how people connect and why people connect on LinkedIn. I'll give you a prime example. So I this past week, I asked an individual who I'll be collaborating with at the end of this month, were they on LinkedIn? The answer was no. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I am, so I'll go ahead and, start putting some fillers out there. And the difference between me sharing this certain thing on another platform versus LinkedIn was like night and day.
Night and day.
And that's exactly why I feel the way that I felt.
Hmm.
LinkedIn is perfect the way that it is. We don't need nothing. We don't need no new
Yeah.
friends.
We don't need any new friends. I agree with you. And again, like I said in the beginning, I have mixed feelings. So I see the pros and the cons. One of the pros that I do see, and you just said it, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I think
Mhm,
oftentimes in society, we don't know what's broken though. So I'm excited because change in social media,
mhm,
there's been a lot of times where things have failed and people just had to pull things back, but every now and again, once in a blue moon, something will hit and be like, "Wow, we needed that and didn't know we needed it," right?
mhm,
So one of the other pro is reach. So when I say reach, like I'm wondering if, and you just said it too, like what's over there needs to stay over there. But for
mhm,
the people that are there right now, like I'm wondering if they will experience better reach or more reach because it's easier to consume. On mobile, and I don't know. Again, I'm
mhm,
excited. I'm excited just because I like change, period, right? And they did say this was a test, so I'm sure that, hey, here's the thing: the people over at LinkedIn, they're very smart. They know what they're doing. They
mhm,
know that it's a business app. They know it's B2B, business to business.
mhm.
I'm hoping that they'll test it with a small crowd, see how
Yeah,
it rolls, and if it's negative, to just scrap it, and it's
just
okay. Because LinkedIn truly is the last platform to be testing this style of feed feature, so we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So on social media, let's talk though about why it's important to know the differences in culture of the different platforms. Because you just said it. You said that, hey, you tested two different things on two different platforms and the results were very varying. Let's go deeper with that.
So it's kind of like when you and I talk, right, in our coaching sessions,
Mhm.
and you've said this a couple of times. You're not going to be able to like own all platforms at the same time, right? So you're
Exactly.
not going to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not going to be able to dominate on
Dominate.
all the social media platforms, right? So you
Impossible.
have to pick one
Mhm.
that you're really good at and it works for you, and you
Right.
have to nurture and grow on that one platform. So when it comes to like um sharing event information and collaborating and all the things, it depends on number one, it depends on the individual, it depends on the business or the event,
Business.
right? And
Yes,
so you
ma'am.
have to kind of like be mindful because you don't want to give off the wrong impression, right?
Mhm.
So like if it's something that is not too serious and you
Mhm.
try to get like everybody to, jump in and tap in, then maybe Instagram or TikTok would be
Yeah,
the your go-to platform,
absolutely.
right? But if you're trying to get kind of like what I just said, like if you're trying to like really grow your network, like with like being intentional about
Mhm.
growing your network and meeting people and all these and all the things, and then let's just say later on down the line, like you have like a real like serious conference or some type of like event or coaching event or something like that,
Mhm.
right? Where you really want to try to reach the like-minded individuals, then
Of course.
LinkedIn would be, your
Good.
go-to for that. So it really just depends on what you're doing,
Mhm.
who you're doing it with, and what this thing is representing, right? So those are the three things that I think about when I post. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok.
Mhm.
The one I love the most is Insta. Like
Right.
that's my favorite. I know LinkedIn is that's your thing.
Mhm.
And to your credit, it's definitely growing on me
Right.
because I was not as active on LinkedIn
Mhm.
before I met you. And so I appreciate you for introducing me to something and
Right.
kind of like allowing me to understand the direction it can take not only my business but my brand in.
Of course.
Oh, I appreciate you for that. And it's
Yeah.
just, I mean, I know it's kind of cliche, but it's different strokes, different folks.
Yeah, nah, you
You know?
you hit it right on the head, and I also think I gotta piggyback, right? Piggyback is like a corporate word from back in the days, but I gotta piggyback on something you just said. Gotta circle. All right, let's say I gotta circle the block on something you just said in regards to like different strokes for different folks. Like it's also important to know what who the audience member is too. So what I mean by that is because I love Instagram. And Instagram, as much as I love LinkedIn, Instagram is still my favorite platform.
Mhm.
So I always tell people when we first start coaching, I'm like, all right, so when you go to sleep at night and you put your head down and you wake up first thing in the morning, before you got to go use the bathroom and all that, and you open up your phone, what's the first app you go to? And whatever answer you give me, that tells me that that's the app that you need to be on the most because that is truly your favorite app. So if you open up Instagram first, don't fight it. That's your favorite app. Now,
Yeah.
there are benefits to repurposing and having different, characteristics on different apps. I think if you are the business owner, you should be on LinkedIn as the business owner.
Yes.
But LinkedIn, remember, you're the owner, so the audience members there are other owners. It's B2B, right? So if you have products or even services or even information for other business owners or people that again have businesses, then
Mm.
that's the move, right?
Yeah.
But most of my sales have happened on Instagram and Facebook. So if I run ads, I still think that Meta has the best ad platform. I think also that I'm gonna fight myself. I was gonna say organically, if I'm going B2C, organically Instagram is the best. If I'm going B2B, organically LinkedIn is the best.
Mm.
So you just have to, like you said in the very beginning of this podcast, be intentional about
Yeah.
what you want. So if you know that you just have to put out an ebook, or if you're just trying to meet people, and when I
Mm.
say meet people, meaning consumers,
Yes.
events, link not LinkedIn, Instagram is the best platform for messaging. Um, and I'll tell you one thing, I totally hate Facebook. Facebook is the worst. My least favorite, but it's been effective. If I'm running ads, I'll run ads to Facebook people. So it's
Mm.
my favorite for ads, but my by far the worst for me to just be on Facebook. I don't update my profile. It's just Facebook is just terrible for that.
Oh, let me tell you,
Yeah.
what I'm getting sick of with
Mhm.
Facebook
Yeah.
are the spam messages that, you're violating some whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Yeah.
your account is, you know,
At
um,
risk.
at risk, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, spam all the time. Like, stop. I'm not
Right.
going against nobody's rules. I'm not out
Nah.
here spamming. Like, just leave it alone. So when you said that corporate jargon, it triggered me. So I have to address that now. So
Let's
for
do
any,
it. Let's piggyback.
I know that it's a trigger for a lot of us, okay? Especially if you are on TikTok and you follow corporate Aaron,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
yes, okay,
yeah.
that's
It's
trigger
hilarious.
on point.
Yeah, yeah,
So when a friend of mine, when we're in meetings, we have this thing where if every time somebody like the presenter uses corporate jargon, we
yeah,
take
yeah.
a
Oh wow. Can I interrupt you for a second?
uh-huh.
I gotta interrupt you, and I'm gonna let you get right back to it. So I had a friend just like that. I'm not gonna put her name out there, but we used to play bingo. We used to have a bingo card, and we had a director. And again, this is in my. I don't even care. Like this is the type of fun and type of time I was on. The type of fun I used to have, and the type of time I was on. We had a friend that every they would say the same catchphrases over and over again. I'm like, don't he even hear it? You don't hear it yourself. So we would have we memorized the catchphrases so much that we'd write them down and they would represent bingo points. And we literally play bingo. Every time they said this one thing, you circle the thing or play tic-tac-toe. We turned it into a full game. Yep.
I love
Terrible.
it. I'm gonna have to
Childish.
learn about that. Like
Childish.
that is up our alley.
Yeah.
That's the level of pettiness that we're
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we would text each other and we would put the word and
Yeah.
say drink.
That's hilarious. Now I love it though. I love it. Luckily though, corporate. Now I've been out of corporate since 2018, but I heard that they're loosening up a little bit. There are a few great accounts to follow on TikTok that bring everything up. I forgot the dude's name, but there's a young African American guy too. He's very good.
I'm
I forgot his name though, but he's
sorry.
yeah, yeah, he's very and he's blown up and gotten
He's
corporate
getting out
gigs.
of corporate
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
they
yeah.
want to censor him.
Yeah, 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 and it's good. Like, and I think it's important too because he would address it from the point of a millennial,
Yes,
and you have a lot of people in corporate that have earned their way up,
yes,
right? But it's taken 20, 30 years. So unfortunately, it's an older generation, right? Some boomers or whatever, and they're still locked into that mindset. And I
yes,
don't think they've realized that they're now coaching and training and leading millennials.
yes,
And you have to use different types of language. It's important to be one with pop culture. I'm not saying that you got to jump on, but you have to know what's going on.
yes,
And I remember being in corporate, and one of the things that me and my partner would do, that's when I locked in on Jordans, and I'd realize because I'm coaching and leading a younger audience, a hipper audience, a more urban audience, and we'd go in with the Jordans, and we'd be real because we are like, okay, we get to wear Jordans at work, let's do it. But
yeah,
we would notice that we'd immediately like relate with them, right? So it also became a tool, and it wasn't anything that was again strategically implemented. Like, hey, let's see if we could take over. It's something that we like to do, and it was also something that they were very relatable with or related with on. So
wow.
we loved it. You just gotta figure it out.
So you're just triggering me all today because
Okay, there's
when you
more.
said the Jordans, that brought me to another story. So my son, he brought me my first pair, and
Right.
so like I have a not as many as you,
Right,
but
right, yeah, yeah.
I actually just ordered another pair.
That's what I'm talking about.
But so like when you said you guys will wear Jordans to work, so typically in my old apartment, I will only wear them on Fridays, right?
Right.
And so tell me why I get to work one day, I get out of my vehicle, and this lady gets in my face and she accuses me of hitting her car.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
mind you, I have on a probably a t-shirt because I don't really wear button-down polos to work, but I have
Right.
a t-shirt, like some type of graphic tee, some jeans, and some J's. And I'm getting my backpack out the back of my car. And I mean, like she's coming towards me.
Right.
And I'm like, Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, what are you going to do? So guess what I did? I put my bag down and I start walking aggressively towards her. Like, you better get out of my face right now. And so I went inside the building, right? Because at the end of the day, I felt like she prejudged me,
Of course.
right? When
Hmm.
as soon as I got out of the car, it was I sat there for like 2 minutes, just kind of like gathering my thoughts, gathering my things. But as soon as I got out the car, the situation started. So I end up going to like security, telling them about it. And shouts out to this the head security guy. Um, he pulled the footage
Right.
because cameras everywhere. And he said, "This is not happening on my watch."
Nice.
And ever since that day, he has never forgotten my face. He's
Right.
never forgotten my vehicle. Like, he looks out for me. And
Right.
I appreciate him for that because it could have went way worse. And the sad part about it was the sun wasn't even up. I call myself getting to work early so I could, get a great start on my day. And here
Of
she
course.
comes.
Wow.
And I probably have seen her one time after
Hmm.
that, and let me tell you, I was running to the elevator because I did not wanna be on there with her, and I'm like, "Ooh, I dodged that bullet,"
Right.
because I'm sure she remembers it just like I do.
Nice.
So, I love the fact that, I can be me and be free, and I don't have to, turn like, dim
Yeah.
my light. I can
Right.
just be who I am, but, yeah, I'm not putting up with that either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, nah, I totally get it. It's all about branding, right? And right now, I think in this day and age, more than any time in history, um, we're allowed to be ourselves, right? And I even look at corporate, and I think corporate. When I say corporate, I'm talking about everyone, right?
mhm,
They're now allowing us to be who we're supposed to be. To the way I look at it is, if you're good at what you do and you're talented, and you could get the results, I think ultimately as a leader, I really care about you getting the results, and you getting the results with integrity. So if you
yeah,
could get the results with integrity, you could take care of my customers. Um, you work well with others,
yeah,
do what you want to do. Like, I look at App. I think Apple, not to toot their horn again, but they've done a fantastic job. When you go to the Apple store, and I know it's very loose, but I
mhm,
looked at this 10 years ago when they first opened up their first Apple store. You'd see guys in there with earrings, tattoos, and they were really good at their jobs though. And the
mhm,
customer service was top tier. And
yeah,
again, when you talk about results, as long as you could again get get the result that you need, right? You're good. And this is the other thing that I love too. Um, you'd go there and there's somebody for everyone. So if you didn't want to work with this person with tattoos, there was another person 2 lanes over that didn't have tattoos, right?
yeah, yeah,
So it's old, young, male, female. If you don't like this type of tea, there are other types of tea, and take a sip to that. I love it.
mhm,
Um, but you have options. So I love it.
absolutely,
I love it. Yep.
absolutely.
Yep. So as we wind down, like, I think this has been a very good first episode.
I
Uh,
enjoyed
yeah,
it.
yeah. I have one more thing for you. But before I jump into it, though, do you have anything for me?
So I was riding my car this week and I wanted to just really bring something to our audience attention,
Okay.
right? So I have a faith-based financial planner, right? I'm all about God, I'm all about faith. And so I was listening to the radio, which I rarely do. So it must
Right.
have been meant for me to hear this.
Right.
And I think it was like Magic 109. And they were talking about how non-believers
Mhm.
were trying to drag Dawn Stanley, the college basketball coach.
Mhm.
They were trying to drag her because, like, in her winning speech, she thanked
Oh, wow.
God that he answered her team's prayers, right?
Right.
Because they've advanced to the final four.
Right.
And so non-believers, so the first thing that comes out of mouth is, if you don't believe in God, something is wrong with you.
Right.
it's America. Like,
Right.
freedom of speech is real, and if somebody wants to give God praise or acknowledgement
Mhm.
for the things that he's done for them, let them.
Right.
Because when you make your comments about how much you don't believe and how you feel like, there's no scientific proof that God exists. Like Steve Harvey said, he had somebody on his show,
Right.
and this same conversation came up, and he was like, I had to shut it down because there's no scientific proof that he does not exist, like
Right.
that he doesn't. And so that really just caught my attention. And I'm like, let people say what they want and feel how they feel about their God.
I agree.
Like, just because I love him and I thank him for everything that he's
Right.
done, I'm not harming you.
Right.
I'm
Exactly.
not trying to convert you. I'm just
Exactly.
saying out of my heart how I feel
Right.
about my God. So I just want to let anybody know that's listening,
Mhm.
don't ever, I don't care what level you're on, I don't care how many letters that you have behind your name, I don't care
Right.
how you grew up, where you came from. Don't ever be ashamed to confess your feelings for your
Right.
God, and don't let nobody silence you. So I
I
just
love
want
it.
to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing, for sure. Yeah, in a similar vein, I've noticed, and I'm not as brave as you because you actually brought it to the light. But I do want to piggyback on what you said. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. But the one thing that I've noticed as well was I've been lately seeing younger athletes, right? When they're getting the ESPN microphone in their face, they're thanking God, and I love it too. It's a good feeling.
Yeah,
So I do agree. If it's not God, if it's somebody else, nobody's stopping you from praising or not praising. So when these athletes, these coaches, people that are successful are uh, right now affirming their belief
mhm,
and they're thanking God and showing gratitude. Just let them do whatever. You have a choice of
yeah,
not following them, right, or not
absolutely.
listening to them. But don't stop anybody from being great. So I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right, so it's right at the top of the hour. For everybody that's been listening, again, let us know how you liked this episode. We want to do more of these. We're testing out a new format, but I had a lot of fun, Omeika. What are your closing thoughts?
I would say just thank you, Cass. I just want to thank you,
Yeah,
um, just for everything. Like, you really don't know what you've done, for me, and my business, and I wanted to just take the opportunity to say thank you. And for anyone that is listening, as long as you believe in you and your brand,
hmm,
authentic about it, everything will work out, because this formed relationship is definitely proof. So
nice.
I just wanted to shout you out and thank
Awesome.
you.
I appreciate it. And thank you for jumping in. This was actually Amika's idea. She was like, hey, I know the coaching is over, but it'd be cool if we could just talk. I'm like, yeah, let's do a podcast, right? We don't have to worry about expensive setups or fancy mics. If and when, like, so let me not
Mhm.
shut it down. When we get to that point will come. But this is also an example of taking an idea and just executing it, right? So if you're out there, if you're wanting to start your business and you're just so afraid and you're not going to make the first step, the challenge I have for you is just to make the first step, right? Regardless of what equipment you have, regardless of what family and friends think. If you truly believe, like Omeika said, that this is something that's going to impact you and impact others, just go ahead and make that first start. So before I sign out, also, where can people find you, Omeika?
So, as I mentioned, I'm like on all social media platforms.
Hmm.
So you can follow me on Instagram at Reigny Day Planner,
Awesome.
TikTok, Reigny Day Planner, everything Reigny Day Planner. And it's REIGNY. You can email me info@raignydayplanner.com. You can browse our website, rainydayplanner.com. So,
Awesome. Yep.
um, That's where you can find me. That's where I'll
Awesome.
be.
Appreciate it. And you can find me at Cas Thompson everywhere. So if you're on LinkedIn, you know that's my favorite place to hang out right now. But I'm on Instagram if you just want to chat. So Cas Thompson everywhere on all platforms. And you've been kicking it with Cas and O. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye.